Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with John and
Michelle. Hi there. Hi everybody.
welcome. It's been such a hot weekend in Cape Town. We thought we were going to melt.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, really crazy. We live in a duplex and the upstairs is just unbearable. So we're doing it downstairs tonight, not in our normal office. So,
40 degrees I think today. 38, 40 degrees.
Really hot. Luckily it's cooled down a bit now. So welcome to Sunday Night Satsang, and tonight we're going to be looking at seven very simple basic steps to higher consciousness. And the reason we're doing that is because we all want a better world to live in. I think every single one of us do. And the old world was created by the manipulation of external circumstances, including our personality, including our mind. And the new world that is being offered to us as a species at this stage it's a world based on energy, based on frequency, based on vibration, based on consciousness. And so if we want to create a different world, a world sort of more sustainable than the old world, a world based more on community and love and caring and compassion, then we need to work with this higher energy of consciousness and step out of the old way of manipulation of external things around us to try and create the feeling that we want. And so that's why we're sharing tonight 7 simple steps to higher consciousness. So welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Hello.
Nice to have you
Hi
with
Paula.
us. Hello
Who else we
Christine.
got? Christine. Hello Christine.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's a bit cooler in the UK than Cape Town right now, I bet, eh? Been really hot today. So welcome. Yes, hello Agatha.
Merlene, hi.
Yes, hello Merlene. Yeah, good evening. So we like to get your hearts, we like to get your thumbs up, we like to get comments. So if you have any comments you'd like to make, any questions as we go along, please type them up. We can see a couple of them, otherwise we do get to them afterwards. So please just let us know where you're from and any comments you'd like to tell us. Tell us what your weather is like in your part of the world, because boy, it's been certainly scorcher here for 2 days. Yeah. So let's start this evening's satsang by doing what we always do, and that's by withdrawing our mind from all of the times and all of the places and just coming into the centered place of presence. All the challenges that we face with, all the problems that we have with both physical and the physical world, in the body and health, and also in the psychological world, they can all be helped and healed by coming into what we call the vertical plane, out of the story of the horizontal plane of time, of past and future, into the vertical plane of presence. And that's why we always start our satsangs with a centering meditation. So if you'd like to settle back, see that you're comfortable, and gently close your eyes. And just for a moment, just become quiet inside and just focus on your 5 senses. Becoming aware of everything you can hear, feel, touch, everything you can taste. Becoming aware of everything you can see behind your eyelids. What colors do you see? Any images? Just becoming aware of those 5 senses. Become aware of the stillness that lies within you in this moment. Becoming aware of where your feet are resting right now, where your hands are resting. Become aware of all the sounds that you can hear. Become aware of your breath. We concern ourselves with many things in life, and yet surely the breath is the most important. The breath is what's given to us when we're born, and it's the very last thing we do before we leave this physical plane as we breathe out. And we take it so for granted, the breath of life. So just in this moment, center your awareness on the breath with a sense of gratitude Gratitude for the mechanism within your body that breathes, and gratitude for the breath that the world around you is giving you, the plants, the trees. In this beautiful exchange of energy, we give out carbon dioxide, which is the nutriments for the trees, and the trees give us back the oxygen. It's a beautiful dance, a co-creation with life, codependency with life, and integration with the world around us is the breath. Let's take a beautiful breath in now, a deep breath in, drawing it right the way down to your tummy, drawing the diaphragm down. And then that beautiful long breath out. Do it to the count of 4. 4 in and 4 out. Just in your own time. And as you draw the air down, you can visualize it going right the way down into your toes. And as you breathe out, just visualize releasing everything that no longer serves you in this moment, just allowing everything to go. Just sinking down deeper into your bodies, into the present moment. Becoming aware of the stillness that underlies all the sounds from the outside world. There is a stillness into which all sounds arise and all sounds dissipate. This stillness is pure, unconditioned. There's no movement, it's unconditioned. It's the womb of all of creation, is the stillness. We don't honor it too much in our day-to-day lives. I wonder how much of your day you've spent in honoring the stillness. Maybe you've had a chance to be in nature, which is very easy then to honor stillness. But it really does help us when we honor the stillness, the quietness within us. For when we do that, something shifts within us. Our heart opens and our head clears. And we become a conduit for life to live through us. This life is infinitely more intelligent than the thinking mind. This life knows more about you than the thinking mind. And when we become still, we align with that intelligence. Super intelligence. Paying attention to stillness has many benefits. It improves our health, improves our mental state, improves our relationships. It opens us up to a greater level of intelligence which will help us in our careers. And it only takes one breath, taken with full consciousness, to align us with this inner stillness. So let's take another very deep breath in, counting to the count of 4 in. And then as we breathe out to the count of 8. So we really make the out breath twice as important as the in breath, just releasing everything that no longer serves us in this moment. Just relaxing the shoulders, the neck muscles, the forehead, the eyelids. Relaxing the body, the arms, the legs. Just sinking down further into this place between past and future. It's called the now. It's the only place that is ever experientially real. And in this place between past and future, there is peace. Feel that peace in this moment. The peace that comes with a still mind and an open heart and a surrendered ego. Feel your heart connecting to all the hearts, all the participants in this call, this community. Feel a sense of oneness. And just quietly in your awareness say thank you for the support and the guidance that we all share in tonight. This inner stillness. Take a very, very deep breath in now. Slowly, softly in, right down to the toes, up to the top of the head, filling your whole body up. And then a beautiful long breath out. Releasing, surrendering. And when you're ready, and very gently, open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, just see how you feel in this moment. You feel a bit more centered, a bit more peaceful, a bit more real. A bit more real.
It was lovely. Thanks, John.
Hello, Linda. Hello, Elmarie.
Lovely to have you all with us.
Let us know where you're watching from. We love getting your hearts, your thumbs up, your likes, and also if you value what we have to share, can you share it? Can you share it on your timeline as well? It helps get the vibration out. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So we're going to talk about higher consciousness tonight because the sun's gone into Aquarius.
Thank you for all the hearts.
Thank you for the hearts.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And
so is it the age of Aquarius now?
Well, ages take a long time to kick in, hey? But it's not necessarily the age of Aquarius just because the sun's moved into Aquarius, because that happens once a year.
All right.
But it'll be in the sign of Aquarius for the next month. And what happens with the sun's move into Aquarius is that it activates its ruler, which is Uranus or Uranus. It's called two different things depending on how you pronounce it. And Uranus is in the sign of Taurus at the moment, which is ruled by Venus, which rules the heart. So this is really higher consciousness, higher states of consciousness is the domain of Aquarius, it's about frequency. Aquarius is an air sign, it's about communication, it's about the patterns of inner communication that we have and what's coming at us, and it sort of helps us to almost detach a little bit from the stories in our heads and the stories around us. And that's part of what consciousness is, to be able to be aware of the stories and to be able to detach from them and to actually find the truth inside. So really that's just a little bit of a rundown of that. So it's a basic energy for the month. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And so it's also the sign associated with freedom.
Right, okay. Well, that's nice, yeah.
So it lines up really well with our Journey to Freedom course, which is starting on Thursday the 27th.
Yeah.
And it's also the sign of vision. And we actually kick off with a vision week this week on Thursday, which is the first week of the Journey to Freedom course.
So we're totally in alignment with the stars.
We are. We really are.
We're in alignment with the stars. How about that? So we've
Yeah.
got freedom and we've got vision. Yeah, join us on Thursday for the first week, which is free. So Life Vision.
Yeah.
Life Vision week. Yeah.
And you can join us for that week
Yeah.
and then decide whether you want to join us for the
For the whole
journey.
journey, 13-week journey. Yeah. And it's on our website, journeysofwakening.com. So let's look at the 7 steps to higher consciousness. Well, the first one, we've just investigated for the first 10 minutes or so of this satsang tonight, and that is meditation. Meditation. These are no in particular order, these 7, but meditation is really the foundation. It's the foundation of consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah, because when you go into a quiet place, you are aligning with the stillness inside you, and when you're aligning with the stillness inside you, you naturally raise your frequency. You raise your awareness. You raise your consciousness. It's natural. So whether you're sitting in quietness for formal meditation, or whether you're pausing during the day as well. So I see that as meditating during the day as well, just pausing between activities.
Yeah, it is. I see Sonia is saying from a
sweltering
field.
Yeah, no, we sympathise, trust me.
And sure, what's the weather like in East London there? Hopefully it's a bit cooler than Cape Town. Yeah, we've had a hot weekend.
Yeah.
Really hot weekend.
A bit draining.
Yeah. So, in truth, you are consciousness. And consciousness has very many different levels, but in truth, the purest essence of who you are is unconditioned consciousness. Having a conditional experience. I mean, this body is conditioned consciousness. The physical universe is conditioned consciousness. But at the highest form, it's unconditioned. It's pure awareness. And so when we meditate, we connect more closely with who we really are. And it's important to do that because who we really are is the all that is, the all-knowingness, the oneness. And so it's almost like having a bank account and going into there and connecting with the deepest wealth that we are. That's what meditation is. And then during the day when we get caught up in the sort of mundane life experiences, we have that inner resource which we built up already by investing it in the morning or whenever it is, and we can draw on that peace, on that inner stillness, which will help us greatly in meeting the challenges of the world that we're in at the moment. So meditation is absolutely fundamental to raising consciousness. There's no other way around it. And meditation can be done formally in the morning, for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, but it should also be done during the day, in our day-to-day activities. So you continually come back to centeredness, come back to peace. That is meditation. Meditation simply means no mind. So during the day, come back to no mind, just being with what is.
Hearing.
And so meditation is the primary building block of raising frequency and vibration.
It's kind of a clearing process in a way as well, because you setting up your day like that in the beginning of the day, you're clearing, because the mind's very busy all day long. So it just gives you a holiday from the mind, and that just automatically puts you into a higher state of consciousness. And we've spoken a little bit about it, that this year is really a call for us to each kind of commit to that, because I think with the changes that are happening, we've spoken about the planet being ascending, the planet's consciousness ascending. So we've got a lot of light codes on our planet right now, and we need to align with them. It's not always comfortable because a lot of our issues are coming up while that's happening, but it's to actually really align and be conscious of where our energy's going at any one moment. I think meditation and pausing and stopping during the day actually brings consciousness to where is our awareness, which is the next point, isn't it?
Yeah. So number one is meditation, and number two is awareness.
Yeah, I see so.
Awareness, yeah. So awareness is observation, just observing without judgment. That's what awareness is. Just being aware, just being purely aware. Aware of your body. I mean, that's what we did in the meditation. We became aware of the physical body, aware of how you're feeling, aware of your emotions. That also requires. And aware of the world around you. Awareness, not hiding yourself away, but being aware of what is happening in the world at the moment. What is the zeitgeist? What is the spirit that surrounds me of consciousness? So that is awareness. Number two, awareness, very powerful.
Yeah, and I think just picking up on the awareness of what we're feeling is a really big one, because we can't actually move into higher states of consciousness if we aren't being real, if we're not being authentic, if we're not being present for what's coming up for us. So it's to be able to be present for what's coming up without judgment. So I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling this way. Can I accept that I'm feeling this way and just allow it to actually move through my body? Because it's actually about moving through. It's almost like moving through different layers. And very often we get stuck there. So when we stop, we feel, and then we want to actually stop stopping. We want to actually get busy doing something because we don't want to feel the feelings. And then that's when the blockage comes. So it's just to see that and to actually say, can you be present for the emotions that are arising without judging, without saying, well, why am I like this? Or what, without analyzing, without going into the story of it.
Yeah, and that comes back to meditation again, because
Yeah.
meditation, you become empty. So then you can truly observe the world around you, everything without judgment, because that's what meditation is, because it is only the mind that judges. So when you become still and you let go of the mind, you are fully aware, and that's when feelings can be healed, because then they flow through you without any blockage. And that's what heals feelings very rapidly, is when there's no blockage. It's the mind that blocks feelings. But when there's no mind, that's when you're able to heal very, very quickly of those blocked, dysfunctional, old emotions that we've been carrying for a long time. So it's really important. It's awareness is observation without judgment. How about that?
No, just coming into that midpoint where
Yeah.
you're actually able to observe what's around you, what's happening around you, without getting into it, without getting into the drama of it. And I think that's another thing that we are dealing with on our planet, because a lot of us are becoming aware of things that we might not have been aware of before, and there's a tendency to get immersed in that. So it's a fine line between knowing what's going on and not getting immersed in it, and not letting it define us and bring our consciousness way down. So it's kind of we need to be aware, but we also don't want to be pulled into it.
Yeah, so it's observation without judgment. So you're just being aware of it without getting caught up in all the emotional angst which goes through the awareness of a lot of what stuff. We're going through the time of apocalypse, which means that that which is hidden is being revealed. So let it be revealed, but don't go there. Don't get stuck in that. Don't get stuck in that. Just be aware of it and let it go.
Feel the feeling, because it's going to bring up feelings. And if a feelings coming up of fear, or feelings coming up of insecurity, of fear of the future, whatever it is, that's because it probably has to come up, because that's underneath the surface. So it needs to come up so that it can actually be felt. But then it's not to immerse yourself in that story, because otherwise you're going to stay in that feeling. You don't need to. It needs to move. Feeling is energy in motion. Yeah. It's got to move through you.
Yeah. And that, all of this, to observe without judgment does mean that you have to have quite a strong, immutable trust in life. And that's really number 3 is trust. Without trust, you won't be able to observe impassioned. You'll be caught up in everything. You'll be worried and anxious with everything. So one of the most important steps, all important, but one of the most important steps in higher consciousness is a trust. Trust in what? Not trust that in future all your desires, wants will be met, all your insecurities papered over. No, trust in life. And life is only ever now. Life is nowhere else other than here and now. And the word trust, the word life, and the word God, which we use as grand organizing design, is one and the same. It's all in alignment with the present moment. So we're trusting in life, in the present moment, that in this present moment you are secure. All your needs are always met in the present moment, not your wants, not your desires, your preferences and your insecurities. No, they're not necessarily met in that moment, but your real needs, your soul's needs are always met in each and every moment. So trust that life is always giving you what your highest needs are, always fulfilled, your highest needs. So again, it's not trusting in a story in your head, not trusting in a future, or trusting in a past, or trusting in other people, or trusting in governments, no, it's trusting in life itself. And life is not a thingness, it's an essence of being. And it is more powerful than anything in the physical universe. Trusting in life. It's really letting go of the mind's sort of attachment to the manipulation of things to meet your needs. In other words, it's letting go of control. That's really what it is, letting go of control. Trust is letting go of the need to control external circumstances so that you can feel a certain way. That's important. We've been
We've
programmed
been
not to
programmed
trust.
like that from the word go, to trust our outer world as which represents that we're successful, secure, loved, because it might appear so on the outside world. But what's being called on us now is not to focus on that outside world. So whatever we are focusing on in the outside world is probably something we need to work through right now, because that's not going to make us feel any better in the long term. We think it is going to. So if I get a better X, Y, Z, then my life's going to be better. If this sorts out, once this problem is over, then I'll be better. When I go on holiday, I'll feel better. When my relationship's perfect, then I can be happy. And we're realizing more and more that just doesn't. It's not true, because wherever you go, there you are anyway.
Yeah.
So it's about actually finding that inside. And that's the opposite of the ego, because the ego will say, no, but you've got to go and do that. And why haven't you done this yet? And you need to control this. And so if control issues are coming up for us, it's also just to see what needs to be healed inside.
Trust is letting go of control, of the need to control. That's really what it is. And that's a big one. It is. It's very, very big. Because what is the ego but a controlling maniac?
That's what it does. Right, wrong, yes, no.
I mean, that's what the ego
do
does.
this.
It does
That's
control.
what its job is, isn't it?
Yeah. Always trying not to help you manifest the magnificence that you are, but the ego is designed to keep you safe, to keep you secure. That's what it is, and to build itself up as a separate entity from life. But trust is to surrender all of that, to surrender to life, to surrender to the control. And this is really big, because we have been programmed all along that a successful person is one who's able to control life around themselves.
Yeah, and so trust is it's letting go of that control and trusting that you are supported and protected.
Yeah. Well,
and
are you
it's
not?
invisible.
Yeah.
It's not visible necessarily, but in this moment you are. All of us are. Otherwise you wouldn't be watching.
Correct.
This. So we're assuming that you've got a cell phone and a place to watch it and electricity. So in this moment you are supported and looked after and protected.
And even if you didn't have a cell phone, even if you didn't have electricity, in that
You
moment
would
you
still
can
be.
say, well, I'm perfect, I'm
yeah.
fine, yeah. I'm guided and protected at all times is a wonderful affirmation to help with trust. I am guided and protected
really
at all
good
times.
one.
And you can say, well, am I guided in this moment? Yes, I'm guided to be here where I am, wherever that is. And am I protected? Yes, I am protected in this moment. I am protected. So it's the knowledge of that trust. Trust in life itself. Life in itself. That energy of life. You know, when a newborn baby comes out, and I always love the fingers. They're so perfect, and the toes. What made that? No, your parents didn't make it, or you didn't make it. If you're a parent, life made that. That's life. That's the incredible intelligence. What keeps the earth revolving on its axis? What gets the sun to rise and the moon to rise? And what gets all the planets? What did you talk about? Neptune, Uranus, whatever. You know, that's all under the control of life. Life controls it all. We're not doing it. We trust that the sun will rise tomorrow. And that's not in our control. For example, if you think you're in control of your body and your life, try not breathing. Just this moment, hold your breath and say, well, that's it, I'm not going to breathe. You'll see that life is way more powerful than your will. And very quickly you will be breathing again, because that's how powerful this force called life is. And when you step back and you give up the control, needing to manipulate to get your needs met, and you go into this place of trust, the whole quality of your life changes. Because you can't truly observe life without judgment if you do not give up this need to manipulate. And that comes from, only time you can give up the need to manipulate is when you understand that there's something much bigger than you in control of life, control of the circumstances.
And I mean, you can feel it in any one moment, can't you? So if you try and control something, you can feel the energy. You can feel what that feels like. It's quite stressful. It's quite resistant. Your body tends to tighten. And it's almost like we're shutting down the flow. So if we're in flow, if you surrender, if you just in a moment just release your breath and just surrender your body and soften your body, you can actually feel the flow, where you can't feel it when you're actually stressed.
Yeah.
You're also not really accessible to that inner voice, because you are so busy controlling what you think needs to be controlled that you can't really hear either. So trust is a big one, and this year with this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that we're experiencing in April, it's very much saying that the more we can actually surrender, both of them in Pisces, which is surrender, the more we're actually in flow and miracles flow in. When we've got both hands on the steering wheel and we're resisting like crazy and trying to control every last cent and every last thing, we're actually preventing that flow. We're blocking it. It's like the universe is wanting to move through us, and we're saying, no, we've got this. Thank you. It's fine. I'm in control.
Rather like a child having a plastic steering wheel. I've said this before. Sitting in the passenger seat with a plastic steering wheel. And every time the parent turns right, well, the kid turns the steering wheel right. And every time the parent turns left, the kid turns left. But then suddenly the kid's will is out of alignment with the parent's will, and the parent turns right and the kid turns left. And the kid's saying, I'm out of control. And this fear and anxiety and this whatever comes up. The kid was never in control. You are the child of the universe. You are not in control. You think you're in control. You're given that sort of perception that you're in control, but you're not. I mean, I know in my personal life that the major sort of forks and nodal turns in my life have not been in my control.
No,
not at all. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
We kind of like to think that they are, but they're
No,
really not.
no.
I mean, we do make decisions and we do decide to do something and we do have goals, but the main nodal points, I mean, you can see it in charts. Those are going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it's just to navigate it and kind of surrender to that.
So it's trusting that there is a greater intelligence than our individual egoic minds in control of life. The same intelligence that beats our heart, that breathes us. We don't do that. We don't get the oxygen from our lungs to our little toe. There's another intelligence taking place. Trust that intelligence. And that then leads us to number 4. So number 1 was meditation, 2 was awareness, 3 is trust, and number 4 is
acceptance.
Acceptance. Yeah, there's a biggie. And that one the ego doesn't like. Not at all. The ego doesn't like.
And it shouldn't be like this.
Yeah, that's right. And
but it is like this.
Yeah. And in Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, in her 5 stages of healing from grief, which is probably one of the most difficult human experiences to go through, is losing a loved one. And she goes through the 5 stages, and the final stage of complete, absolute sort of the healing happens only through acceptance. No other. Nothing else will take that pain away other than acceptance. Yeah, it's letting go of the story. That's really what acceptance is. Letting go of the story. Letting go of your story. Letting go of the story and surrendering all resistance to life in this moment. That's what acceptance is. It is what it is. From that state of acceptance, you are then more intelligent and more empowered to make better choices to move forward. You're not acting from a resistance and a reactive mode. You're now acting from a state of presence, from a state of awareness, from an alignment with life. Instead of being non-aligned with life, you're now aligned with life. That's when your acceptance comes in. And from that state, you can then move and choose a new direction to move in. But first of all comes acceptance. This is what it is. They said that to me. I know they shouldn't have said that to me, but they did. They said that to me. Now, from this place of absolute acceptance, they did say it. How do I react? That car did cut in front of me on the highway. They did do it. It did happen. Not that, no, it shouldn't have. It did happen. How do I react? And then it comes from, well, what do I really want in the world? And this we go into in the Journey to Freedom. What do we really want? And so, what do you really want? And I mean, we can come up with many different words to describe it, but ultimately we all want to feel at peace, don't we? So in this moment, something's happened to you. The ego would resist it and not like it. You decide, okay, it is what it is in this moment. now I can react or come from a place of peace. And I can choose peace. What action can I take now that is going to take me deeper into peace, which is aligned with peace? That comes from acceptance.
Yeah, and I think that the keys to that, to acceptance, are awareness, is the building of that muscle where we're actually able to come back into presence. Because when that muscle is not, when we haven't practiced, it's very easy to go into the story and go into resistance. And I don't think we realize, us as humans, how much resistance we're actually in on any given day.
Yeah.
We're resisting the weather, we're resisting what someone said to us, we're resisting what's going on in the world. On any given day, it's quite an interesting exercise to say, what am I actually in resistance to? And there's a lot of resistance. So it's becoming aware of our resistance, that actually then we can choose not to be in resistance. But if you're not aware of it, then you don't even know you're in resistance. You're not even sure that you are. You don't know until somebody maybe points it out to you. Or if you're aware enough, you can say, I've just gone into resistance. I've gone into complaining mode, or this shouldn't be like this and it is like this, and trying to change it, trying to control. So you can see they all work with each other. Because as soon as you go into acceptance again, you're actually raising your consciousness. You just are.
Yeah.
Because resistance is dropping our frequency. There's no doubt. I mean, that's when we get sick, and that's when we get...
Yeah, and how do you know when you're in resistance?
Well, I feel it in my body.
You feel it. You feel bad. You don't feel good. You're not at peace. Yeah. So if you're not at peace, you just know there's some resistance in me. There's some non-acceptance in this moment. So that's a good barometer. In this moment, am I at peace? And if I'm not at peace, well, there's resistance in me. This weather shouldn't be like that, whatever, with the hot weather we're having today.
Yeah, Barbara makes a good point, which I think is a good one to clear up, but if no one resists, there's no pushback. Don't we need pushback?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
So when the world works according to vibration and according to frequency, when we push back, that pushback can come from two areas. It can come from your true essence of being, which is always at peace. Your being is always at peace. Or it can come from the ego, and the ego is never at peace. Now, what you sow, you reap. So if your pushback comes from resistance and non-surrender, non-acceptance within you, those are the seeds you're sowing, and you will reap that. So, for example, you have a war on rape, for example. You create more rape. If you have a war on drugs, you create more drugs. If you have a war on, what else we have war on?
Well, you resist
war on
it.
cancer.
What you resist persists.
We have more cancer. So it is what you resist persists. So this is a fundamental shift to realize that the world is created out of frequency and vibration. And whatever frequency and vibration sponsors the action will determine the outcome of that action. So when you come from a state of inner peace, your action will have a completely different outer outcome compared to when you come from resistance. When you come from inner, no, it shouldn't be like that. And ultimately, that's the shift between the old world and the new world, because the old world was very much predicated on the resistance to life and trying to get our needs met by force. Where the new world comes from power. It's the power that lies in the present moment. Your point of power is in the present moment. And the greatest power you can ever have is love. Love is the greatest power. So is your action being sponsored by resistance, which is normally comes out of fear? Fear, we can talk a bit about that. It's normally the protection of ego. Or is it coming out of love? If it comes out of love, we are creating a new world based on love.
So it doesn't mean you don't see that something
needs to be fixed.
It needs to be done differently, or so. I mean, I think a good example is the one that Eckhart talks about, which is you order a meal and they bring you the meal and the fish is not right. So you can do it in two ways. You can push back and get really angry and say, "How dare you serve me fish that isn't right?" and lambaste the poor old waiter. You can do that, which is pushing back, which is going to create a stressed environment for everybody. It's obviously going to do that. Or you can simply say, no, this fish isn't right, please take it back and bring me something else. It's a completely different energy. But you're still saying, no, this isn't acceptable. There's something wrong here. So we can still have that, we have to have that ability to say, yes, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do this. This doesn't work for me, so no, I'm not going to partake of that rule or that thing that you're telling me to do, because it doesn't feel right for me. But to go into resistance about it, that puts you into suffering. So if we're constantly looking at things which are actually bringing us into suffering and resistance, that's the vibration that we're creating. So, I mean, I quite like to see it as I'm pro something rather than I'm anti something. So, you know, for example, if I need to wear a mask, I'm pro breathing.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I like breathing.
Pro breathing.
So, you know, I'm pro-choice, for example, as opposed to I'm anti that. Because anti says resistance.
Yeah,
it's wrong, it's bad, close it down, shut it down, which, yes, it might be bad. But to be pro something is much more, it's got a higher frequency.
Yeah. And underlying all of this is an understanding that this acceptance is an inner experience, not an outer experience. You can say to the waiter, no, take this fish back. It's unacceptable. You know, you can say that. But on the inside, there's an inner, yes, this fish is off. Yes, they did serve it to me in this very expensive restaurant. It happened. There it is. And I accept that. That's what happened. And now I take steps to remedy it on the outside, but without that inner resistance. So resistance, what it does, it ties knots in us. It makes us knotted. When we tie a knot in us, the chi, the energy, the life force can't flow through us. And we do it individually and we do it collectively. And what mankind is suffering from at the moment is a collective knot, a collective blockage to the flow of life, which we're talking about, to allowing life to flow. We have blocked love, ultimately, because when you resist, when you say no, there's a blockage to love. And when we open, yes, this fish is off. Yes, can you please? Now there's love between you and the waiter. There's love in the moment. The fish needs to be replaced. Can you replace it, please? And there's a love. There's not a blockage to love. So that's quite important. Very important.
And it's not to judge ourselves because I mean, we've been programmed to be in resistance and non-acceptance as well, from word go. So we're all going through this awakening. So we're going to be seeing our resistance. Yeah. And it's to be forgiving of ourselves if we go into resistance. I've got into resistance, I can bring myself back. And the more we do it, the easier it gets to bring ourselves back out of the resistance.
Yeah.
But Cheryl just said the love that we gave the ocean and the wild coast and shell story as an inner space community is a good example of pushback coming from love.
Yeah. Here we are.
So we send love into that scenario, into that situation, and it's got turned around.
So the two ways of living our lives is, one is we have to manipulate and control the world out there. We're talking a lot about control tonight. That comes from the old way, the Newtonian way of seeing the world as physical objects that have to be manipulated. The new way is to understand that everything is vibration, everything is frequency, everything is energy. And when you come at it from that, then you believe in miracles. And miracles is not initiating change, but actually facilitating the right vibration for change to take place in without necessarily having to force anything. So that's the difference. Miracles unfold and I think we gave the example, didn't we, of sitting out here last week?
Yeah, they happen.
Where there was some neighbours down the road who got a bit drunk and they were making a bit of a noise, revving their cars, and we just handed over to that energy, and within seconds, dissipated, gone, quiet neighbourhood again. Yeah. And that's the difference as against the old one. No, I have to go and sort this out. I've got to go and do. The new way is no. Change the frequency, the vibration, and outer reality changes. It's very hard for the ego to accept this because the ego is made up of doingnesses and resistances. But out of that always comes more resistance, more pushback from the other side. Where the way we're talking, when you start to work with acceptance, it opens you up to the world of miracles. And that, I believe, is our destiny, to work in miraculous ways with reality around us.
I think the key there is also from what you've said is that we frequency, we are energetic. And the more we can wake up to that, the more we can really get that. That we are not physical. This physical body is not actual physical. It's energetic.
Yeah.
So if I'm vibrating at this level, then that's what's coming in. If I'm in resistance, it's fine. I can be in resistance. I'm just going to be met with resistance. If I'm vibrating in love, I'm going to be met with love. And it's up to each of us to experience that. And I mean, we all know what that's like. You go out in the morning and you're in a good mood and everything just works.
Yeah.
You get the parking lot, everybody's pleasant to you, you have a nice cashier, and people let you into the traffic. You get up in the morning on the wrong side of bed, you didn't sleep properly. It doesn't go like that. That's a very simple way of seeing it, but we've all experienced that.
The world out there is a manifestation of energy. That's what it is. Nikola Tesla, most amazing man, if you go into his works, was very, very sure of that. The world is vibration. The world is frequency vibration. If you want to understand the nature of reality, he said, think in terms of vibration.
We're just oscillating particles.
Yeah. That's what we are. Yeah, we're not even particles. Each particle is just an oscillating energy. It's a bit of conditioned energy. Yeah, and when you start to see that world, then you know you can create
stardust.
Yeah,
that's what we are.
Right. And that leads us to the next point, which is forgiveness. I think we need a lot of that in the world at the moment. Forgiveness. Forgiveness really just means to let go. Just to let go, to drop it, to let go of all other times and all other places, and just be here in love in this moment. Now, the ego will have a big pushback against that.
Because never forgive that.
Correct. It really thinks, no, if I forgive, then nothing's going to change.
Then I'm condoning it.
I'm condoning it, says the ego, and it's going to happen again, and they're going to do it to other people. No. Forgiveness is very different. Forgiveness is the alignment with life. It's one with life. It's a very wise thing to do. Forgiveness is such a powerful force to work through. Now, we go into some of these on our 13-week course. We spend a whole week on forgiveness. It is so powerful in our lives. You know, when you forgive, you find, wow, there is such a relief. Forgiveness is to open the prison doors and discover that the prisoner was you, and you were the warden keeping yourself prisoner.
So true.
That is the thing with forgiveness. Forgiveness you do for yourself, not for anyone else around you. You do to liberate yourself. That's the power of forgiveness. So if you are battling, and there are many things that happen to many people in their lives that really people battle to let go of and to forgive, join the Journey to Freedom course. We do spend a whole week and we give you lots of practical exercise to work through forgiveness. But forgiveness is definitely one of the most important steps to higher consciousness. If you're holding on to unforgiveness, it's very difficult to elevate your awareness to the point where you become a co-creator of your life.
You can't, because you're dragging stories behind you.
Yeah. And you remain stuck in past.
I've heard people say it very often, I will never forgive that person. And all that means is it's fine if you don't ever want to forgive the person. Just know you're going to be in suffering for the rest of your life.
And you're linked to that person.
Because you're linked to that person energetically, and you are, that person and that situation is sucking you dry and demolishing your frequency, actually.
Yeah.
So when we say I'm never going to forgive, we just got to know what we're doing, what we're actually committing to. We're committing to a life of suffering. Whereas you can actually say to yourself in any given moment, and the big thing is to forgive ourselves, because very often we're the ones that can't forgive.
I can never forgive myself for that.
I can never forgive myself for that, or I can never forgive myself for reacting that way or saying that. We must forgive ourselves straight away.
If you want peace. If you want peace.
And if we want to go into a high state of consciousness, because you're not going to go there if we're dragging it behind us. It's like dragging a big, huge haversack on your back.
And we all yearn for love, and one of the biggest blockages to love is about flow. That's what love is. Love is flow. And one of the biggest blockages to flow is unforgiveness.
Absolutely.
So that's a big one.
It's a big subject too, and it's the layers of it. So when you think you've forgiven, I haven't really. There's more.
They say the Course in Miracles says the only time you know you've forgiven is when there's nothing but gratitude for each and everything that ever happened to you, knowing that it brought you to this unique place that you're at today. So that's forgiveness, when you can say thank you. And that brings us then to appreciation. Appreciation is number 6 in the 7 steps to higher consciousness. Appreciation. Let me run through it again. Meditation, awareness, trust, acceptance, forgiveness, and appreciation. Appreciation. You know what appreciation does? It opens your hearts. That's what it does. Opens your heart. And when you can appreciate, you allow love to flow through you. That's really, I think, our soul journey here on earth is to open our hearts, to come back to love. And appreciation does that. It opens us up to allow that beautiful flow of energy beyond mind to flow through us. Appreciation. Appreciate the small things. Yes, the big things. Oh, that's wrong. The weather's too hot today. But boy, there's lovely things that we can appreciate right now. We have a fan, for example. We have water to drink. We have lovely mountain water to drink. You know, we can focus. The mind, by the way, never really appreciates. It appreciates for a short time. You get your needs met.
Something else.
Yeah, that's right. But you can say, thank you, mind. Yes, I know the weather's stinking hot today, whatever. But I'm going to appreciate that I'm inside a relatively cool house right now. Thank you, mind. I appreciate your comments, but I'm going to focus on appreciation. Because appreciation makes me feel good.
It opens you up, yeah.
And I want to feel good. And then number 7.
Presence.
Yeah, presence. And that's the most important part, I think, of any of our lives. It's just such a simple key. I remember I was on the spiritual path all of my life. And then I read Eckhart Tolle's book, Power of Now, and that was just, wow, yeah, it's so simple. The present moment. That's it. It clears everything. If you want to raise your consciousness, make what is more important than what isn't. Make the present moment more valuable to you than yesterday and tomorrow. And that immediately raises your consciousness, opens your heart, makes you aligned with life. It opens you up to peace, to love, to joy, to fulfillment. That's what the presence does.
Yeah, I mean they've done research now, and they've seen that people who spend time in presence, you literally reprogram your brain. Every single time you go into presence, you reprogramming those neural pathways. That's how effective it is. So you're cleaning the slate every time. So all those little mushy thoughts and tangled up neurological patterns, that gets smoothed out when you go into presence, which takes you back to meditation. It's like a circle. Hey?
That's right, yeah. And presence is your true essence. It's your true being. It's your true I amness. That is presence. You are presence. You don't have presence, you are it. So the more you align with presence, the more you're aligning with your true essence.
And it's practice. It's practice. I mean, that's why in the Journey to Freedom, it's a 13-week course, because you practice. Because because we've been conditioned out of this. It's our essence, but we've been conditioned to believe it isn't.
Yeah.
And so this is an awakening to who we actually are, to who we really are. And so it's a return to who we are, to return to love.
Yeah.
So it needs practice, because not because we can't go there. We can go there right now, but we can't. Our ego mind is so strong that it pulls us out of it all the time. So that's why it's practice. That's why they call it a practice, a meditation practice.
Yeah, the egoic mind lives in it doesn't live in reality. It lives in a conceptualized reality. It lives in a world of thinking, and every thought is a concept. You know, you look at a table and you don't see the table, you see the concept of the table. And so we also become concepts. You know, we have a name, and that name evokes a whole lot of conceptualization. We see someone and they're a whatever, and there's suddenly not a being in front of you, there's a concept in front of you. You know, when you fall in love, no concepts. It's just being meets being, and it's beautiful, and you feel that love and that joy and that presence is wonderful. But after a short time, you've been married for 20 years, you haven't seen that beingness probably for the last 15 years. You now have a concept. You're in a relationship with a concept, with a role perhaps. And that destroys that beauty of life, that magnificence of the creative expression in this unique moment here and now. And presence, really, when we talk about presence, we just mean honoring the unique essence of life as it is in this moment, in the space between our thoughts.
Yeah.
In the space between our thoughts.
I know
That's
that.
presence, yeah. And it's who you are. It's who we are. And we all meet, Rumi said, out beyond the ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. That is the field of presence. We all meet in that field of presence. We meet the divine in that field of presence. So those are the 7 steps. I'll just run through it again quickly. It's meditation. They're in no particular order because there is no order here. They're all the same. Meditation, awareness, trust, acceptance, forgiveness, appreciation, and presence. And we can practice all of those more and more and more in our daily experience. If you would like to delve deeper into that, then please join our Journey to Freedom course. Yeah.
It's necessary that we actually all are aligning with this consciousness.
Yeah.
So if you're having a hard time at the moment, if stuff's coming up for you, don't judge it as wrong, because it's stuff that needs to be felt and cleared and seen and being made aware of. We are ascending. We are.
It's our destiny. It's our destiny.
It's
now is the
not
time to
happen.
awaken. And the universe is going to give us every opportunity. Everything you're attached to, the universe will threaten that.
Yep.
Because attachments block us. So everything that blocks us from love, from peace, from joy, will be challenged in the world out there. Make no mistake. Will be challenged because the universe wants us to awaken at this stage. There's a, in spring, there's, the flowers all open in the Western Cape because nature wants them to open,
wants to flower.
And life, which is nature, nature is the essence of the divine. I heard about that today. It's coming into alignment with the divine. Yeah, that's what nature means.
It is.
Yeah, means that. So nature wants us to be in alignment with life, and that's our destiny. It is our destiny. I'll put these up on the Facebook page if you want them written down. I'll put this up on the Facebook page after the satsang. And it's a case of just being aware. They're little reminders, as you say. During the day when we get caught up in the stories in our head, let's just use these to remind us to come back to presence, because the world, the universe, the cosmos is waiting for our return. It's waiting for it to come back to a higher state of awareness. As we reach higher states of awareness, beings that are in those higher states of awareness are able to connect with us and guide us further. They're waiting for us to awaken.
And I think that just a word as a reminder, which encompasses all of these, is breath. Bringing yourself back to the breath, because breath will bring you into awareness. It'll help you to trust. It'll help you to accept. It'll help you to forgive. It'll help you to appreciate. Because a few conscious breaths brings you back. So just remember breath. Breathe. So I'll see you out with some breaths, because we haven't got much time there.
Just breathe us out, and then we'll give you a little affirmation. We'll select. We've got a big fat wad of cards here, affirmation cards. So Michelle will choose one to guide us through the week.
Okay. All right. So I'll lead you out. So just take a nice deep belly breath in. So as you breathe in, just expand your belly. Which is counterintuitive, because normally breathe into our chest, but if you actually breathe in and expand your belly, it's much deeper. Then bring that breath all the way up, 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 and then release it. And another really beautiful deep breath. Deep, slow breath in. And then on the out breath, let it all go. Feel the tension melting off you. And now just breathe at your own pace, but be conscious of your breath. Be aware of your breath. As it comes in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. Just see what a few conscious breaths does to your being, does to your body, does to your mind. And consciously aware of the breath. And with each out breath, releasing, surrendering, accepting this moment, letting go, of anything that you feel might be blocking you, limiting you, stressing you, just in this moment. What does it feel like to just let it go? Letting go of the thoughts, the stories, the opinions, and just melting into presence. Resting right here, right now, in this place of peace. Resting in this precious, sacred, present moment. Where we're completely aligned, open to the flow of the universe, connected with the divine, connected with the divinity of our own divinity. Just really immerse yourself in this moment, just this moment. And there is the peace. And before you come out of this, just know that you can return to this throughout your day. It only took 2 minutes. It can take even less time. So now take a deep breath in and a relaxing, releasing breath out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Isn't that lovely? How do you feel? Let us know how you feel. Thank you for all the hearts and the likes.
I love that, Agatha. Now is where life breathes. I love that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
That's
lovely.
beautiful.
I honor the divine in all I meet. It's a beautiful lilac card.
Lilac card. I honor the divine in all I meet.
We honor the divine in you.
Yeah, we do. We do. So that'll be the affirmation for the week ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
So we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. This
Life Vision
Thursday.
Week. Yeah, Life Vision Week. Join us there. Thank you very much. Have a blessed and safe week ahead.
Love you lots.
Love you
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Love you all. Thank you.